It is day 15 deep dive. Are you guys ready? How are you feeling? Let me know in the comments. It's already halfway through. Be sure to follow them in sequence because it is designed in a way so that after 30 days, you feel irresistible, you feel happy, and your dating life goes well. Because after the divorce is done or separation, or if you had a breakup from a long relationship, there are a lot of pieces that are broken inside. So you want to make sure that those are all healed before you pick the next person. Because what ends up happening is when we are not whole, we are lonely, we end up picking the wrong person. It is not you, it is not me. What ends up happening is, as a human being, it is designed in such a way that our brain attracts the person from the familiar pain. If you have never heard of it before, it is the truth for everybody. So people always look for the familiar pain. And I'll give you an example, even if you are not dating right now. Have you seen when you go from workplace to workplace, there's always this one or two people at work that you feel like, they're after you. And it's not everybody, it's just one or two people. So what ends up happening is it's actually in our mind. We reflect that part of our mind to somebody, and our mind is looking for that somebody. And then we end up connecting that person A from company A to person B from company B, even though they don't know each other, and you find the similarities between them, right? So that is what I'm talking about. And that happens even in dating life because our mind is always have that fear, the fear of unknown. Now, the interesting part is if you are trying to reinvent your life, which is we talk about after divorce or a breakup, in this channel, we talk about how can you reinvent your life? How can you live the best life in your second half, right? Because after midlife, after 40, over the hill, whatever call it is, midlife crisis, if you want to live happy, you want to make sure the parts that need to be healed within you is fully healed. Only then you're going to pick the right person, because we cannot change anyone else. We can only change ourselves. We can work on ourselves so that we are whole, so that we pick a person who is also whole, because your frequency will be up here when you are a whole person, versus when you are broken, you will be down here. And you will be attracting the people who are in same frequency zone. You will be attracting these people who are here in the frequency level. You want to attract somebody who is here, so you have to go from here to here, so to attract the right person. Okay, so without further delay, let's get to it. So today's topic is, how do you know if you are the person you met? Is it, and you like that person? Is it infatuation? Do you really love them? And how do you connect and all of that? Sometimes you may feel like there's this instant chemistry, and this is great, awesome. But sometimes what ends up happening is that, you can make this. Have you heard of microwave mug cake? Microwave mug cake. It takes only a minute. You can look it up on Google or Pinterest. We actually even have a video here. My daughter and I, we made microwave mug cake, and sometimes we do that. It's fun. It takes only a minute. The cake, it tastes good. It's like an instant gratification, and it's amazing. However, when you take the time, it could end up taking an hour, the whole thing, right? Like you use the flour and sugar and eggs and milk and butter and all that, and you bake the cake and you put the icing. The quality of the cake that you made in a microwave that took a minute versus the quality of the cake that you took the time to make it in the oven that took 1 hour, is a huge difference, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, try to make it sometime and feel the difference. And sometimes you don't even have to look at it. Just look at the recipe and see the reviews, the comments, right? You'll know what I'm talking about. So that's the difference. Something that is really good, it takes time. So now I'm not saying that if you met somebody, you have the instant connection, it's a bad thing. You just have to take the time, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, give it enough time. Talk about the things that are important to you, right? With that person, talk about the things that like, childhood, their dreams, their values, and see how you guys are connecting. That is very important. But it all goes back to these three things, right? You guys have seen, I have talked about it. It's called mindfulness triangle: thinking, speaking, action. The biggest difference that you would hear from anyone else and from me is the speaking. Everybody in the industry talks about thinking, feeling, action. Can you control your feeling? I don't think so. As soon as the thought comes to your mind, less than a split second, your feelings start to happen, either sad, mad, or happiness, anger, whatever that is, right? So your feeling is very automatic. However, you can speak to what you want, and then chances of you taking that action is higher. So just as an example, I talk about this, like if you want to go to the gym, you talk to 5 different friends that I want to go to the gym, your chances of taking that action is a lot higher as you start speaking about it. So anyway, so for this case, what you want to do, as your thinking is changing, as you are thinking that, okay, now I want to find somebody who is caring, who is also looking for this deeper connection, just like you. Unless you're looking for a short-term relationship, that's not something we talk about here. Time is limited, my friends, so you guys have to really go for what you want, because if you're in your midlife, you want to live a happier life, there's no point wasting time on the people that is not going to match with your values, your principles, and all of that thing. Those are very, very important. So if you are thinking about that, you need to start speaking about that. So you need to create some sort of affirmation. And the easiest way I say it is, you don't even have to write it down as an affirmation. You don't have to create a post-it unless you want to. You can always, write it down in a post-it, put it in a place that you could see every day in front of your, mirror, or in front of your computer, wherever you would see a few times a day, that I attract the people who resonates with my values and my principles, whatever that goes with your thought process, right? You must have had some non-negotiables that you're looking for. Because what ends up happening is, sometimes you might be really attracted to the person, which is okay, whether based on looks or whatever. But then your non-negotiable, because you have this infatuation, you forget those non-negotiables. You kind of throw them out the window. And what ends up happening is, after a few months, when those non-negotiable comes back, because there's a reason you have this as your non-negotiable. These are deeper in your subconscious level. So those you have to care for. So if you don't connect from that level, after a few months, or even you might end up getting married, those things are gonna bubble up. You cannot control them, because these are based on your deeper values and principles, that the way you had all your life experiences, the way you grew up in your childhood, all of that had something to do with what your values are, what are the things that are really, really important to you, right? And sometimes it is not always a childhood thing. For example, I'll tell you, for me, Christmas is a huge thing. Growing up, Christmas, I didn't even know much about Christmas, right? So I grew up in India, in a small town. We had, I don't even remember if Christmas was a holiday there back then. Anyway, now with globalization in India, I think it's a holiday and people celebrate Christmas. But back in the day, it was not a thing. But after I came to this country, I started loving Christmas. I don't know what kind of connection I had, but anyway, and then I became Christian only last year. So it's not that because of the religion or something. Anyway, side story. The point is, if something is really important to you, make sure that thing is also important to the other person, because it will create a conflict, trust me. And if you guys had the marriage lost, divorce, or broke up from a long-term relationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You know that. Comment below if you connected with that. And then when you start speaking to yourself that way, that through affirmation, either with friends, that these are the 5 things that is really important to me, especially if you have a best friend or a few close friends. I have like few close friends. I'm so grateful. I shared with them that these are my non-negotiables. These are really important. So then what happens is, they help you to stay on track. Even if you're like, I don't know, smitten by somebody who's super attractive or something, they will help you to make sure if those are working out or not, because later on your closest friends are going to help you from the heartbreak otherwise you might get yourself into. Again, remember the microwave versus oven, or you can even think of slow cooker. If you cook something, you can make an omelet in a microwave, like it takes 30 seconds, and at the same time, you can make a really good omelet with vegetables and cheese. My daughter likes it with cheese, and anyway. So, it's different. The taste is different. It takes time, it takes effort. Exactly, the relationship was also same thing. Take the time to learn more about them. Take the time for them to learn about you. Go to different places, and I'll create more videos about later how to have interesting dates where you get to learn more about yourself and themselves, like how the relationship is going to look like later on. If you're interested about that, comment below, and I'll cover it at some other time after this series is ending. I have a few more good series planned for later. I'll talk about it later. Anyway, so the next thing is the action. So the action part is where you literally, when you are going for a date, you are reminding yourself. And here, this part, this space, excuse me, this part where you can always use this part as a comment section, because if you think of it, in your life, more than likely your family, friends, coworkers are not seeing you here. So most of the people that you're meeting here, it's a community that we are building. It's a movement. I'm not going to stop. This thing is going to go in millions. You will see millions of people joining. It's just the beginning, because I am so excited about it. I can't tell you guys. So this is going to happen. So right now, nobody knows you. So you can just comment here, just for your own reflection, because that is immediately going to change your mindset more than 50%. Because when we write something down, when we share it with others, there is a research about it that the likelihood of us taking that action already increases at a huge percentage. And I tell you guys that when you watch something or learn something, you retain only like 10 or 20%. And then if you write it down 50%, 50 or 60, I think. And if you teach it to somebody, that's where it gets like really, really big, 90%. You retain 90% of it. And I'm sure about that percentage. So which is why I keep telling you guys to share it with other people, talk about it. And that's how you will retain most of it. And that's how, when we retain, is when we can apply in our daily life more. So you might be meeting somebody today, it may or may not work out. You might meet somebody 5 months later when you are not watching these videos. However, if you teach it to somebody, you are going to retain that 90% in your head, which means next time when you meet with somebody, you will remember all of these things that is designed in a way so that you stay irresistible, you have fun, because that is everything, my friends. Because for me, I live with fun. It's more like Richard Branson, that's the mindset. Like I'm like it's like, it's not about the money, it's not about anything. I think he is the best leader out there when it comes to how to live your life joyfully, right? Time is limited in this world. So for you, joy might mean something different. For me, that is what it is. That is what excites me, like, seeing the difference in people's life. Even this morning, I spoke to somebody, and oh my God, we connected so well. And I hope I was able to help her with something, and she was able to help me with something. And these are what really, really makes a big difference. It's like those amazing connections. 8 billion people in the world. Everybody has a unique story, and we all can make a difference. So make a difference. All the things that you're learning, share it with your community and invite them to this channel if they're willing to. And more than likely, if you're going through these challenging times, because I went through, you can see my own journey in 2024, 2025, or the playlist. I was in a sad place. I was in a sad place because there were moments where I just captured, okay, I'm just doing mindfulness practice. I'm saying, okay, this is the only moment that exists, and I'm just doing a deep breathing. And from there, I'm here today. It is because the biggest thing is consistency. It's consistency. When you start doing something 30 days. 30 days is what it takes to feel a significant shift. If you are very diligent, you're going to feel a shift in 30 days, and let me know if you did feel that shift. After that, you go for 3 months, you will feel a huge shift, something that you will be noticing and it'll get you excited to follow more, whatever that is. And for you, it could be meditation, it could be prayer, it could be, I don't know, going to the gym. You just have to pick one thing that you can stick to. It could be even gratitude practice, 5-minute gratitude practice, doesn't matter, whatever you can stick with, right? That is what is important, because all the other things that you want to do, you may have 10 things in your list. You don't have to start with 10 things. Just start with one and stick with it. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. In 6 months, you'll be a completely different person. Trust me. And that's what happened to me, because I continued every single day. And these videos are the proof. You will see every single day I made this video, no matter what. That was the accountability I had to myself. And you have to have that accountability to yourself. And the way to build it also is consistency. The hardest part is first few weeks, because first few weeks you don't really feel the shift. You feel like a chore, but you still want to do it even though it feels like a chore. And then eventually it becomes like a habit. And by 30 days, it gets to like a habit forming situation, because 21 to 66 days is how long it takes to form a new habit. So it becomes like a habit, and you start feeling the shift when a negative situation happens, whatnot, and then your mind kind of starts focusing on the positive, and you're like, I'm surprised that is happening. And that happens because you're training your mind. Literally, you are training your mind every single day, even if it's for 5 minutes, Like, if you go to the gym for 30 days, and even if you go for like 15 minutes a day, just 15 minutes a day, that has a higher impact. Instead, if you went once a week and you went and exercised for like, I don't know, 2 hours a week. Yeah, so if you do 2 hours a week, because what happens is, first thing is your mind won't be ready to go the second week or the third week. But if you could do 15 minutes every day, it will become a habit. On 31st day, you're going to miss it. That's how it works. Even with the mindset, the gratitude practice, in 30 days, it becomes like a habit that, on 31st day, you're going to miss it, that good thing. And for me, trust me, even though I'm so excited and, all of that, I do it every single day. Because if I don't do it, like either my prayer or gratitude practice, or, listening to those good things that uplifts me, if I don't do it, I miss it. So your mind starts getting trained in a way that you will be looking for those things. No matter what is going on in the world. In the United States right now, a lot of things are going on. A lot of people are very anxious, nervous, fearful, whatnot. And I don't say to brag about it, but I have figured out tools, the pattern. Whenever something happens, I don't stay there. It's point A to point B. I never spend more than seconds or minutes in here. And when I know that, okay, I'm spending, it happens maybe, I don't say once a month or something, more than like last week or something, I had like a half a day, beyond half a day. I'm like, okay, I got to use some big tools. I did 1 hour meditation, got me there. So that is the point, that you want to find your pattern from that. You want to create your own formula. When something happens, how can you get from point A to point B? Anyway, a lot of details. Again, to wrap it up, 3 simple things. Start thinking about not instant gratification. You are looking for a long-term love and connect in a deeper level. Soulful connection takes long. So take the time, learn more about the person, their interests, their dreams, how they grew up, all of these things, their values, as much as you care about your values. See how they match. Start speaking about it. Write it down if you need to. Action, start commenting that way. And when you go out on a date, remember that before you go out, read that thing out loud, even if you can. That will help you to pick the right person, because more you go with the wrong person, you are losing time to get to the right person, right? Because you want to settle down with somebody who has the same values and principles as you. I mean, 2 people will be very different. It won't be exactly the same thing, but you don't want to make the same mistake, right? So, okay, with that, we're going to finish the video and I'll come back tomorrow. It's a surprise. Bye.